Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the greatest podcast in mankind's history. I am Ross of Nazareth, and I am sounding the alarm on something known as gang stalking. What is gang stalking? Criminal networks that use AI software and voice recognition software try and paint you as unstable and crazy. They have fooled the Bethlehem Police Department. How the Bethlehem Police Department handled this is egregious negligence. I can't imagine how they treat women victims of sexual assault. I was a victim of financial ruin. They had all my bank account statements. They did Google ads. I will explain everything in more detail when the time comes. But all you need to know as of now is that there are a criminal terroristic network across America. And what happened to me is they use AI voice recognition software to fool doctors into thinking I had something called paranoia psychosis. Whatever that means. God only knows how these criminals came up with this, but they have fooled the Bethlehem Police Department, and I can't imagine if I was a woman. They should be ashamed. They should be ashamed of themselves, how they conducted themselves. And a lot of these criminals try and get into places of power like law enforcement. So the Bethlehem Police Department has a lot to explain to the community and how they are going to make the community safer. How will you do that exactly? We need to know. The woman who did this to me was 37. Her name is Dara, D-A-R-A. I'm not going to give last names, nothing crazy like she did. She smeared me to the entire town. And what this podcast is going to illuminate is how this transpired. And I was in a lot of trauma during this podcast. I was in extreme fear for my life and for my family's life. With that said, I present to you the newest podcast on the Anti-George Carlin podcast about hacking and how you can stay safe. How you can stay safe is sounding the alarm just like this. If this gang stalking has happened to you, you're a relatively normal person, you got involved with a narcissist, next thing you know, you have people following you, setting and planning evidence. This podcast is for you and everyone else that has empathy. These people call themselves family. They are sociopathic freaks that have reptile tattoos. They have weird tattoos like scary movie stuff. They're all basically immature losers. They're hackers, overweight nerds, a lot of short men. Believe it or not, short men. I'm 6'3" or something like that. I don't have a jealous bone or a revenge bone in my body. All I want to do is protect my community. And my community was Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and Nazareth. Thank God Nazareth police didn't do anything egregious. They are actually very respectable. They treated me with dignity. The Bethlehem Police Department laughed at me. Laughed. Over $60,000 is missing from my bank account. And they were played. Bethlehem Police, you were played. And you have a lot of answering to do. So without further ado, welcome to the podcast. This is very confusing. I think you guys are making a very big mistake.
Okay.
All right. And, I don't think you guys are aware of cybercrime. And that's okay. I'm not mad at you. It's speaking what medical professional?
It's Northampton County Police.
Okay.
But it's raining. We're not gonna.
Wait a second. I need more information on this. Doesn't make sense. Literally does not make sense. All right, guys. I'll try and update you, and I will.
Again, but this is the last time. Freeze, don't breathe, don't move your feet. So she says, dance to the disassociated beat. Is this track on repeat again? Obsessed, I'm your god, then I'm dead. Here we go again, I'm your friend, don't you know? I love you, don't go. Now leave me alone. I just can't watch you die. One more college try again, but this is the last time. Again, but this is
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
the last time.
Ladies and gentlemen, check, check, check. Check, check, check. Ladies and gentlemen, it is April 25th, 2026. Welcome to the greatest podcast in mankind's history. This is the Anti-George Carlin podcast, and we got a great podcast today. We are going to be talking about hacking, because it's 2026, and no one's talking about cybersecurity. This should be shouted off rooftops. If you own a business, if you are a independent creator, if you're an artist, if you are a blue collar dude going to work every day, or a union guy going to work every day, is your phone secured? And I will tell you how I set mine up, because I didn't know anything before I got hacked. We'll get into the hacking, but how it starts is you have an iCloud that's linked to a Gmail if you have an iPhone. It's that simple. And I'm going to tell you how this all went down, how the one live that I took down, maybe if you guys behave, a little treat for you guys, for you beautiful 10 out of 10s, you beautiful listeners. If you make it to the end, I'll show you the footage of the cop. I live streamed the cops taking me down for trying to provide them hacking evidence. True story. My phone was hacked inside the Bethlehem Police Department. I mean, I can't make this stuff up, man. I went to show them all this evidence. They have a power surge, whatever that means. We have them all the time. I'm like, really? Because I can't even log on to your Wi-Fi. And I have like this pertinent evidence. There's death threats. I'm going nuts. I'm going crazy, right? I'm literally going nuts at this time. I think that like legitimately I'm going to die. They're sextorting me. There's hidden cameras in my house. I mean, this sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. I'll tell you how it happened. It was an ex-girlfriend. And anyways, I left the police station, and 2 days later, I get 302'd by the cops because I call them back. I'm like, they're going to kill me, man. Like, I'm trying to give you guys this evidence. They come, and they're like, yeah, we'll look at the evidence. Just go in this secluded room right over here where no one can see you. We're going to step outside. And they went and got an ambulance and strapped me to I freaked out, dude. I freaked. But luckily, the psychiatrist was like, yeah, like, you're voluntary now, and thank you for like not freaking out more. And I actually learned a lot at this facility, and we're going to go over some of the realizations and insights I had, because if you were listening to this podcast, you likely want to know where the danger is. Where's the danger? Especially if I can't see it. And how do I stay safe from the danger? So the first one's hacking, cyber hacking. What is it in 2026? You don't know where the danger is. Well, you know it's going to be on your phone, right? Or your computer, at your work. What are the manifestations? How do you stay safe? You know, and we'll get into that last, because that was the last thing that happened to me. And we'll go in chronological order. And mental health, by the way, said that kind of like a black. Mental health, by the way. I don't know, dude. I'm trying to do different
If you're trying to really take care of your mental health, I recommend zinc and Dr. Jones Essentials.
Whatever he's selling, dude. He's selling like some charcoal toothpaste. I don't know, dude. InfoWars is kind of where it's at because I realized this as of late after being hacked. Wars aren't fought, with guns and tanks. After the atomic bomb, what happened in World War II when we dropped the atomic bombs on the Axis on Japan, we all kind of collectively agreed that we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't blow everything up. Come on, guys. Be a little bit reasonable here. But that's the thing, man. How do you defeat Hitler? Your capacity for darkness is equal to your capacity for light. You had to understand Hitler, man. He's killing so many people. Hitler it's destruction beyond what the average person can even fathom, what they can even imagine is possible. It's so dark. So we had to go darker. For real, to stop it. And 2A bombs, our boys are coming home. The ladies are all flashing them. For real. That's what they were making out with their wives and girlfriends. Random chicks were going to find dudes. They were stoked. My grandparents thought winning World War II was one of the most monumental moments in their lives. That's how important, the Jewish concentration camps, if you see pictures of them, it's hard to imagine. It really is, dude. And you have smokestacks coming up. One, steam for power, and the other stack, if it's black, well, maybe 50 of your friends just died in the worst concentration camp in Nazi history. This is dark stuff. So I think we're going to start telling the story of how I got hacked and how I got 302'd, which I became voluntary very quickly. However, I would like to say the behavioral psychiatric ward, I was in a psych ward. You have grippy socks on and these kung fu pants. And I would say the one in Bethlehem where I went to, state of the art. Roberta, shout out. That was my social worker. She was that chick, dude. And also John, the music guy. Actually, the whole place was great. And they really helped me with having awareness around this toxic abuse relationship cycle, which I was stuck in. So where do we begin? I think we should begin.
I'm like Alex Jones. I got the documents right here, people.
These are all blank. So I want to begin with this. When I was a kid, my mom or I would read children's stories. And a lot of these stories have, a knight going on a mission. There's a princess stuck in a tower, Rapunzel, whatever. Cinderella, whatever the story is. Hercules, you have a person that is a hero that is willing to slay the dragon to rescue the princess, the damsel in distress, and they live happily ever after. Now, what happens in 2026 when there's a lot of damsels in distress? And Ross in Nazareth right now, after being 302'd, my mental health is all whacked out, to be honest. I feel nervous doing this podcast. There's a lot going on with my life. I think this is the best thing I could be doing is trying to podcast in real time for my mental health because I like doing it. It helps me with comedy and helps me focus on the timeline and chronological order of these events and how they occurred and how it affected me, and if it can help anyone that's listening to this that has been in a toxic abuse cycle. Your phone has been hacked because that's how it usually starts, and then we'll get to how to save the day because because I got the answers for that. So look forward to the end of this podcast. But first, have you ever seen... Oh, let me finish that thought. These children's books were written by the female the femme fatale, the female narcissist. Always save the victim in the tower. How do you know? How do you know that Rapunzel's not gonna hack me on my phone, and Rapunzel's not gonna strangle me to death with her hair in my sleep? How do you know she's not gonna snoop around my house and try and find all my passwords to my computer? How do you know she's not going to go into my YouTube or go into my DistroKid, change my password for BMI royalties, and 50% of them for the past 3 years I've been banking up? I had to do a lot of work around BMI royalties. So if you listen and like of any of the music you hear on these podcasts or Spotify or wherever, please listen to that music, because I am more broke now than I've ever been. I didn't have access to any password. I couldn't log into my bank when I got it. That's how bad this hacking came out. So the femme fatale type. Think Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin. Not the cartoon one, the Uma Thurman one. The good one. She was pretty hot. She was really hot. So the love dust. And the guys go, ooh, I want to have sex with you. And they're very easily manipulated. What is that exactly? How does that pertain to real life? Well, the female narcissist uses something called destabilization. And this is how they do it. And it's textbook. If this happened to you, you are with a female narcissist that's likely trying to take advantage of you in some way. If this is happening, run. Run! Run! You can't help them. You think you're going to help them, dude? If a dude with a fedora and relatively good shape, dude, comedian, I'm funny. I used to have money. Now I don't. I used to have it going on too. Now I don't. But back in the day when I had it going on, I could talk some good game. If I can't change, a woman with severe issues, you think you're going to do it, dude? I don't even think Joe Rogan can do it, dude. You probably get frustrated in a week and go, I'm going to smoke DMT and doing jiu-jitsu, dude. I'm moving on with my life. Ugh. Just, drive some sick car out of there, dude. There's a burnout around her. He has one joke. I'll put this around. I'll wrap my dick around your throat and start you up like a lawnmower. That's my favorite Joe Rogan line of all time. I wish they zoomed in on the girl's reaction after he said that. That's a gnarly line. To say live, the balls on Joe Rogan, dude. Respect the Joe Rogs, dude. I bet he had some toxic cycle. Sorry, I got piece of hair, dude. Again, I'm nervous on these podcasts. Anyways, I was talking about Joe Rogan doing crowd work. I don't know how I got there. All right, so the key stages of toxic. You guys have heard a lot today. I went to a psych ward. Police 302'd me. I'm clearly doing a lot on the engineering side. I got hacked. This is a crazy podcast, but keep listening. It's going to get better. I'm going to focus in. So the stages of the toxic cycle. I'm talking strictly when a female narcissist, think Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin, engages with any male. And likely they have about 5 or 6 males they're going around to. They circle back to each one at a time. It's cyclical. So it means like they will reject first and then come back. Reject first and come back. And they do this about 50 times. And for me, it took 11 years for the person to actually lead up to their end, their long game. That's what it's called, the long game. But before we start going into this, I'm going to quick pause so we have, I know everything's recording fine. It's going to take 2 seconds. All right, we're right back. So I want you guys to think of Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin. The key stages of toxic cycle. Toxic cycle manipulation is a repetitive 4-phase pattern: tension, incident, reconciliation, and calm, used by abusers to maintain control, often involving gaslighting, love bombing, and blame shifting. It keeps victims trapped through emotional highs and emotional lows. You're addicted to the highs, the sex, and all the good stuff, and also the fights, the confusion, physical trauma, mental trauma, emotional abuse. Still recording. We're good. It keeps victims trapped and forcing them to walk on eggshells while minimizing the abuse. So what are the stages that you can look out for? This would be tangible things you can notice. Idealization, love bombing. This can be defined as intense affection, charm, and grand promises designed to gain trust and control. So what it looked like in my case, I was apparently her soul. This chick was like, "You're my soulmate, twin flame," all these weird garbage words that I don't even know what she means. Within 2 weeks, within those 2 weeks, we've had sex everywhere, outside bars, inside pubs, at the carnival, at like one of those it's like they bring animals to like Plainfield. It was like a farmer's what is that called? They're actually pretty fun. They have like derbies there. It's I think it's called the Plainfield Farmers Fair. I don't know, something along the lines of like, it's a small town farm, and they have like, they bring in horses and goats, and they do these derbies. They do like, they basically smash cars together. And I'm from this area. I'm a hick. I'm truly a blue collar dude, and I forget what this is. It's late here. I had a long week. Anyways, doesn't matter. I'll think of it and I'll put it up somewhere. So after the love bombing and you gain their trust, we're soulmates. No way. This is going so good. The next phase is tension building. The manipulator becomes moody, cold, or controlling, making the victim feel they are walking on eggshells. What did I do? I'm just too confused here. What? And this looks like in really high level. Some people don't know they're doing it. My abuser knew she's doing it. And the older they get, the women get, the worse they become with their pathologies. And mine was so calculated, she probably rehearsed it in the mirror before I would come over or before she would come over. And it's never out in public. This is always behind closed doors. That's where it happens. Because they're good. They know not to text. They know to call to make you seem crazy. They know how to triangulate, which means like going to your parents when you're not around. Did you ever notice anything off with Ross? Well, he fedora taps like nobody's business. What else do you mean? No, I mean kind of off. And then they put your parents in a very uncomfortable position. That's a narcissist. So the next phase is the abuse, the outburst, including emotional manipulation, verbal abuse, or physical violence. For me, this looked like Darvo. The person could never accept responsibility. Passing sexual boundaries, that was huge. Like, I was 21, she was 28. We passed every sexual boundary I ever had. Little did I know. And then she would hurt me during sex on purpose. And you go, "You're sensitive. You're too sensitive. You're a pussy." And I'd be like, "I guess, like, but I am bleeding." But like, I'm like, an average person would be like, "That's no. I said no." If I was 21, she had the authority on me. That's like rationalizations that I use. No, I should have, if I went back to my 21-year-old self, I would have said, and I knew what I know now, I would have said, if she can't accept your boundary without completely disregarding it, she doesn't care about you. In fact, she's probably out to get you. She's probably abusing you right now. That's what it was said. So any youngsters, look out for this
toxic cycle because you can get trapped and it's very hard to leave. We'll get into all this stuff. So the manipulation tactics themselves, like what are they? It's gaslighting. That would be like, you're not listening to this YouTube channel right now. You're not listening. You're listening to Alex Jones. Why are you listening to Alex Jones? Do you like Alex Jones? Why do you like listening? This is not Ross of Nazareth channel. Are you insane? This is not Ross of Nazareth. No way. This is Alex Jones. You've been listening to Alex Jones for your whole life. What the hell gives? Can Alex Jones fedora taps? I guess that's why he's better than Ross of Nazareth then, isn't it? All right, so that's gaslighting. I'm sorry I had to put you guys through that. That's horrible. And the purpose is just like Poison Ivy's, her love dust, to destabilize a dude before she kills them, literally, or poisons them. And, you know, they have like vein. I forget the movie, but they always look gross. They have like varicose veins in their face. So gaslighting destabilizes you. When you're destabilized, you're exactly where the abuser wants you to be. Because at this point, you can't make decisions properly and your executive functioning is not working. So you gaslight and then you confuse them and then you ask different questions repetitively. You know, you disrespect me. Why do you disrespect me? After you destabilize someone, now she has a new goalpost. You aren't respecting her and you somehow agreed to it. But you never can actually respect her enough. And by the time you do, it's a new thing. How come you... I had one. How come you took one of my son's chicken nuggets? I said, I bought 150 from Chick-fil-A. It's for all the kids. And if I want one, I'll eat one because I bought them. Now that turned into a 5-day argument that she brought her mom into because I had one chicken nugget. You know, it's always something ridiculous. And then I'm like, this is so silly. Do you want me to go? I'll buy 150 more. Will that make you happy? It's expensive to get that whole big tray of them. I was doing the kid a favor. You know, little did I know it's calculated, guys. It's all calculated. So looking back, I would have told myself, hey, take a deep breath. You did a good thing. Your gut instinct was to provide food for children. That can't be wrong. No matter what a goofy deadbeat mom thinks, right? So not to put labels on, she's doing the best she can with the circumstances she was given. She had a tough childhood, but so did I. So did you, probably. We all have tough childhood. If you go to a random bus stop, I guarantee half of them saw, you know, a few people die in their day. You know, half of them probably have trauma. All right. So the tactic Darvo is deny, accuse, reverse victim offender, deflecting blame onto the victim. So, a lot of times with this person, she would go, I'll go, you don't respect me in the bedroom. You don't respect my boundaries at all. You kind of just like snoop around my house. And she would use Darvo, which is, no, you snoop around my house. Remember this one time you did this? And by the way, she's denying it. She's accusing me, reversing the victim and offender role, deflecting blame onto the victim. So now I argue with her, I interrupt her, and I don't respect her. And I was trying to set a boundary. You can't win in these relationships. This is what I'm trying to get to. The casino, the house always wins. The house always wins, dude. You will never beat the house. A female psychopath is so much more skilled in manipulation than you are. You have to come full circle to where I'm at to provide the solutions. So a lot of times in manipulation, a good question to ask is, what's any of them gaslighting? You're watching Alex Jones. You're not watching Ross and Nazareth right now. A good way to step back from that is, I see that you may be stressed right now. You don't say you are stressed. You say, it's appearing to me that you may be stressed right now. Is there anything I can do to help? And if they continue on this gaslighting that you're watching Alex Jones, not Ross of Nazareth, a little fedora tap on that, you can go, I see your point. Or, you may be right. You keep it very short. You're not agreeing with the person. You may be right. Or I can see your point of view. You don't want to further engage with that because it's crazy. It's trying to mess with your perception of reality itself. And that's unacceptable, especially in a relationship with someone you love. Silent treatment. This is a big one. So in the female psychopath, they will often profess, "You are my soulmate," have sex with you at a bar, then have sex with you inside the movie theater, then have sex with you wherever, and then start a huge fight out of nowhere, seemingly out of thin air. You blow up, you leave, right? Yeah, what the hell is this? And what the heck is going on here? You start acting like your dad, I ain't putting up with this stuff. And you leave, and next thing you know, she rejects you outright for maybe 2 weeks. Now you send her 4 texts. Now it's up to, you call her maybe 5 times, no answer. And what did I do? Oh no. And you didn't do anything wrong. This is all calculated by a female psychopath. This is what it is explained. We have genetics. We have the subconscious and we have the prefrontal cortex. 200,000 years ago, our ancestors lived in tribes. And if you were rejected from the tribe, it almost meant certain death. What is Ross in Nazareth going to do with a fedora in the middle of the woods by myself? Rub two cups together to try and make fire? My fedora. Like Odd Job, dude. Just try and kill. I put steel in my fedora. Send it out. Try and kill some big game, dude. Some white-tailed deer with a fedora. Come on, guys. You're gonna die back in the day. 200,000 years ago, if you were rejected from the community, it meant certain death. So we have that same fear. When someone rejects you, it doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. If a female gets rejected by a guy, there's an unpredictability feature in the brain going, why was I rejected? This is unpredictable. Now I'm obsessed with this person. Why did they reject me? I have to understand. There was no closure given to me. And that's another tactic that male narcissists use and female narcissists use. No closure. A normal, healthy person will go, well, listen, we just got in a fight. Maybe we should take a few days off just to give us some space. A female narcissist will not give any closure, so you're stuck trying to figure it out. That's the beginning of the web. You're going to be caught in a web soon. She's weaving the web. And during this no contact phase, what happened to me was fake accounts and audio recording equipment was in my house at this time. So she was spying on me and using fake accounts to check on me. And this is called reconciliation hoovering. The manipulator makes excuses or blames the victim, promising to change or to lure them back. What she was doing was just hoovering. She would come back in my life and then sex bomb me times 10, dude, to let me know exactly what I'm missing. And it seems like she would come back and sex bomb me every time I was about to go steady with a new girlfriend. I moved on. Maybe I did finally get a new girlfriend. I moved on from this toxic relationship that's very hard to leave. I get a new girlfriend. The first week, she comes around. Fake story, something happened. I need to talk to you. She leaves giant hickeys all over my neck, and it's just like if she can't have me, no one can. That is their obsessive attitude. All right, we are back, and we were talking about manipulation tactics in toxic abuse relationships. It's a cycle. Oftentimes, when they reject you, they seemingly are away from you, and you're kind of stuck wondering, do I move on? There's no closure. What's going on? Maybe the good times will happen again. Maybe it's not always going to be about fighting, but the sex bombing the first 2 weeks are likely over. You'll never have that she used that to hook you. So, and then when the calculated flights come, it is similar to a casino where there's so much unpredictability. She'll have sex with you, then yell at you and confuse you on purpose right after. So when you mix negative abuse with positive sex reinforcements at random, in mammals, they even know this in rats, unpredictable rewards hijack the brain. So when you're trauma bonded, that means you're addicted to the highs and the lows. Let's just say that. And you view your abuser as both danger and the person who can relieve the danger. Your whole brain goes, you're a zombie. That's how this person, we went online and we looked at the thread that she's a part of. It's a very dangerous organization. They call this making zombies. And they usually have 5 or 6 men at a time. And they do it for 6 months and then go to a next group. Over 10 years, you could have 80 to 100 guys all obsessed with this woman, but they have no idea that it's just biology. If someone explained to them, no, you're a victim, you've been abused, and you haven't seen it. And as soon as I saw it at this amazing behavior, it's a brand new psych ward. They actually had good food. We'll get into how I got there. That's perfect, because not many people know about psych wards. And I think I had an interesting stay, to say the least. I made friends. All the staff were really cool. It helps if you're a comedian, because people just, they don't think you're a threat. Like, and I helped out too, and we'll get into all this stuff. So, all right. Why did I mention all this toxic abuse cycle? So this woman who has been abusing me has essentially hacked my phone by gaining access to passwords because I trusted her. I never thought she would. And looking back, it's like, no, she's the only one that would have stolen all of my passwords. And this is how you stay safe in 2026. If you have a Gmail that's linked to your iCloud on an iPhone, change that immediately. Use the iCloud email and use a secondary email that's maybe your mom's or a family member, maybe your actual girlfriend that you trust and you trusted her for the past 10 years, or make a random email up at the public library and use that one, right, as a recovery. Make sure your cybersecurity is on fleek, dog. I don't even know if they're still using Fleek. I heard that at the psych ward and I cringed. So all I'm saying is you don't want to be in my position. How did this hacking start? Well, to not give too much detail, the hacking began shortly after an ex came back and tried to split me up with a girlfriend. And I just, we found out that my long-term girlfriend, her computer was hacked. Her Gmail was hacked. And if anyone's listening to this that reached out to my old phone number as of late, check out your phone, dude. I'll show you how to do it right now. So you're going to go to your Gmail, whatever Gmail account it is, manage on like Google, manage your account. Now, you go into security and sign in. I steered you wrong already, guys. I'm sorry. All right, so there's like there's 9 dots right between the question mark and your logo for your Gmail. In the middle, it's like 9 dots. You click on that, and you're going to go to account. It's the first one on the left. After that, you go to devices. And you want to see what devices are signed in on your Gmail. For me, I'm hacked. I'm hacked out the wazoo. And we're still working on this, but we're getting better. And one day, I probably have to move on without the Ross of Nazareth YouTube page, unfortunately. I love all you guys. You guys rocked. Everyone that has saw me do live comedy, thank you. Everyone that has listened to my music over the years, thank you. You guys rock. There's going to be a new and better YouTube out, and it may not gain the popularity as quickly, but we are working on documentaries, especially for what has happened to me as of recent. Maybe a new ibogaine documentary, because I think ibogaine provided me with the awareness to see this toxic abuse cycle in for its entirety, you know. And we were just going somewhere. Okay, so once you go to your Gmail, you click the 9 things, you go to account, see if there's any devices. If there's no devices, go to my password, set up a recovery email, set up a phone number that you trust. Make sure there's a 2-part authentication, whatever that process is, and probably do more than that. Probably get a VPN. And if there's any VPNs out there that want to sponsor the Anti-George Carlin podcast, I am looking for one. And I'm also looking for a service that, like a LifeLock service, that, like, if your social is used at any given point in time, it locks it. It locks your the Experian, TransUnion, I forget the other one, so people can't take credit cards out. This is all real, guys. Like, my life, I got hacked. I called the police to report a crime. This is where the podcast really gets good. I'm going to tell you guys a true story, man. I got all the footage.
What am I going to?
We're probably going to St. Louis.
I'll put some of it up right here.
Okay. And why do you send someone trying to report crimes that aren't taken serious to a hospital?
And that's me with the cops. I go,
reason
you guys
you're
don't
going.
understand.
Why am I going?
I think you guys are making
Because
a
we
mistake,
believe
man.
your
And they
your
bring me to
behavior
the
is
hospital.
somewhat dangerous to
And,
yourself
who do I
and
see
potentially
there?
others.
My
You
favorite
told us that you were
comedian
thinking about
in the
killing
Lehigh
yourself the other
Valley.
day.
He works at the
No,
hospital.
I didn't.
And he's hooking me up. He's like, dude, you better just, like, give him your blood, pee in a cup. Like, they're going to strap you down if you don't. And meanwhile, what I was seeing before I called the cops was death threats. So what the hackers are capable of in 2026, for you guys that don't understand and maybe aren't a public figure and maybe haven't ever been hacked, they changed everything. When I ChatGPT'd something, it wasn't the right result. When I called, oh shit, dude. All right. When I called the number for the cyber hacking helpline, they called poison control, because I have this song, Borderline Whisperer, and the chick thought it would be funny to program in that in my phone. Not only that, all these death threats were, and they would send pictures of me that looked like me and said, I'm going to die June. I'll put it up. Here you go. And they said, if you don't go to your neighbors right now, we have the microchip that when you were sexually assaulted, allegedly, let's just put that out there, allegedly sexually assaulted, we have that tape, and they were trying to sextort me, these hackers. And I said, no, go ahead, dude. Well, we're going to tell everyone that you want to kill yourself. That's what the hacker said. I never said that. And I think that's horrible. And if anyone is struggling with any sort of mental health issues, especially that, I had multiple friends end their lives way too quickly because, you know what? I think that, I'm sorry for saying that on this podcast, but this is the truth. I was at that point in my life multiple times, if I'm being honest. And the intention behind, I'm going to say it, suicide is dead on the money. I think the intention, not the actual word, but the intention behind it is dead on the money. It means that, I knew something in me had to die. I knew something in me had to die. That's what it really is. I just tried killing the wrong self. You understand what I'm saying? I tried killing the wrong self. It's not my physical body. No, what is this? No, dude. This? What? Fedora tapping all day, dude. What did my physical body ever do to me, man? My heart beats a lot on cue. My brain is firing neurons and making connections daily and thoughts, and my eyes just see. I don't tell them to see. They just see. I'm hearing right now. I'm not trying to. I'm doing this podcast right now by talking. I'm not really sure how I do that, but it's a lot of things going on in the prefrontal cortex and some in the reptilian part of the brain, limbic system. But at the end of the day, the intention behind taking one's life is the intention's down the mind. You knew something and you had to die. You just tried killing the wrong self. It's not this. It's this. This. And that's what the hackers try and take over. And I'll tell you, like when I called the cops, I can see why they thought I was crazy. Because when your reality is showing you something that's so crazy, like everything, death threats, you're gonna die. Like here's everything we have on you, like personal stuff, man. Like, I mean, could you imagine being sextorted? First of all, I mean, for a man, it's weird. First, I'm like, I don't know, my mom, my grandma, like, it's for a woman, probably way worse, but for a guy, it's strangely humiliating. Someone was in my house. Someone planned this on me for years. I knew this woman for 11 years. When I went to Mexico to do ibogaine, my girlfriend stayed at my house. And you know what? She heard banging on the ceiling the entire night. She couldn't sleep. She was being harassed. And at the buildup, right before I called the cops to come to my apartment on last Sunday, I was getting death threats. So I said, hey, I'm going to head out to Long Island and I'm going to be doing work. Just making sure this is still running. I'm going to do some work out in Long Island. And I get death threats to now people in my family and people I care about. And I'm not sure when you go through PTSD alone, something traumatic, you do talk a little bit faster. Things are going quicker. You're not doing yoga every day and meditating. And when you're 2.5 hours away and there are death threats of someone that you care about and they are taking pictures of the person's house and you don't have a weapon on you, you freak out. And I called the cops. I said, so anyways, when I got back from Long Island, I went to the Apple store, got a new phone, thought that would eliminate it, One more switch here. So I get back from Long Island and the first thing I said to the hackers before the cops showed up, basically I wanted them to log evidence. And what they ended up doing was putting my hands behind my back and taking me to the nearest psychiatric ward, where I happened to see one of my favorite comedians in the Lehigh Valley who hooked me up. And Xavier, you got to come on this podcast and explain to people how I was last week compared to how I am now. We'll get that. We'll get that for the next podcast. But what the hackers can do now in 2026 is precisely this. They can make anything show up on your phone. Your consciousness is the most powerful entity on the planet. Whatever you focus on, your consciousness produces. So reality is if you ask 10 different people what their reality is, everyone will have a different response, provided they are watching different news sources. They're on their phone at different times, looking at different things. And if we all got off our phones and didn't listen to, politics all day, I bet people would be a lot more friendlier, down to earth, willing to help people. But I think that psychopathy increases with the phones, especially when you're not. The people that were hacking me were cowards. They are cowards. If they come to my face and say any of this stuff, it will be a lot different. I guarantee you that. Not to mention, it's the female psychopath who orchestrates all of this. I got hacked originally. There's a Facebook post that got put up while I'm in this I can't use Facebook while I'm in the psych ward. And right when the Facebook post goes up, all of my friends get texted by a friend of this ex I had, obsessive ex. She won't stop with me. What's up with Ross posting this? By the way, I was hacked. They knew that. So they sent me the photo. They had my back. So when someone's under attack in a community, Nazareth, Pennsylvania is pretty small. Everyone kind of knows who I am to some degree. Not everybody. I would say most people around my age, they go, they're crazy guy who owned the RV and went to Austin and does comedy. Yeah, whatever. Someone's saying he's a bad man on heroin. Whatever. Most people don't have an opinion. But it really hurts when friends know you. And they're like, damn, dude, really? They get sad and then they block you? It's like, what, dude? I do. No, I was going to make a stupid joke there. But look, hacking stinks. It affects every area of your life. It really does. Finances, all your passwords are gone. You're going to have to get new Gmail accounts. It's just not fun, man. At all. Not even if you're wearing a fedora. It's not even fun. It's probably the worst traumatic event that has happened to me since my older brother passed away of fentanyl. He died of a drug overdose. My older brother, my best friend. This is up there with it. But obviously, you guys don't know half of it, and I can't talk about it until it's all resolved. So, how are we going to end this? We have to end this on a positive note. Number one, if you are finding yourself in a toxic, abusive relationship where you find yourself destabilized a lot and sex is controlling you, or this relationship seemingly came out of nowhere. They're very private. They have a private life. Usually they don't have friends. It's because they spend all their time dating 5 or 6 other guys. That's what's going on. And then they'll claim, well, we weren't boyfriend, girlfriend, but you're calling me your soulmate. It's all lies. They're all lies, manipulation. It's all garbage. These people will cheat. They will steal some chick's husband. They don't care, dude. There's no boundaries. And they're after one thing and one thing only: to get away with what they can. And there was a gay psychologist. It doesn't have to be gay, but he happens to be my friend, and he is gay. So I'm stopped. One thing about abuse, you second guess yourself, you get less confident. I'm done, dude. I'm done doing that. I have a gay friend who, he's like, I'm like, why? How could anyone do? I knew her for 11 years. How could she do this? It's a felony trespassing. It's a felony recording device. you get 100 years just for hacking. You know, why? You know, his response was, this is cold-blooded too. He goes, I'm like, and plus I said, trauma bonding. How did she even know how to do that during sex? Like, how did you learn that? And who the hell would do that to someone? And he looks at me, takes a pause. And by the way, he has this like little cute dog and he's holding it. We're right outside of my studio. And he goes, because she could. Ladies and gentlemen, because she could. So I bet you would never I bet in a million years, you wouldn't think to hear Ross of Nazareth saying, toughen up. Get a backbone. No means no. You can say F you with confidence. Sleep like a baby. Call out behaviors that are crossing your boundaries. If you're in a workplace, get meetings together, and the people that are out of control making your life a living hell, deal with them in real time in front of other people. If there's anything I learned through this whole experience is bring it out into the light. These cowards are just like monsters. I grew up watching, fairy tale children's stories. These monsters are like the vampires or the werewolves. They only come out at night, and they're very stealthy, and no one knows who they are. You have to unmask them like a case of Scooby-Doo, dude. It's Old Man Jenkins. Can you believe this, Scoobs? It's truly like Scooby-Doo, man. And they're cowards. Here's the deal. If you're hacking, by the way, a fifth grader can probably do this stuff. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. By definition, they have an IQ lower than 100. Because if they had an IQ higher than 100, maybe they'd be doing this. Maybe they would have some social skills. Maybe they can learn the art of stand-up and get good at it and podcast for however many minutes on the free flow, dude. Maybe they could paint. Maybe they could be a scientist. Maybe they could be, making movies, documentaries. Maybe they could be a blue-collar worker, because some of the smartest people I know are blue-collar workers. Some of the funniest people I know are blue-collar workers too. But they couldn't, because they had to resort to hacking. And by the way, these narcissist types, the female psychopath or the male psychopath, they are so dumb. They never graduate college. They can't really graduate anything because they can't perceive criticism. They can't receive criticism at all. They do the Darvo. No, it's you. Yeah, I blame you. Really, dude? Why? Are you two? Don't you want constructive feedback? I love it when people tell me I'm wrong. I'll repeat this. For all the narcissists out there, dude, trying to hack my phone. Come see me in real life, dude. You'll get the odd job. I killed 3 white-tailed deer last year with this hat, with this fedora. I'll repeat that. I love when I'm told I have done something wrong or I made a mistake. Why? Because that makes me aware of how to do it better so I don't make that mistake in the future. If I was never given that constructive feedback or criticism, if you want to call it that, I don't want to label it negative. Call it criticism. I don't care. Criticize. He's a critic. Critics are kind of useless. There is a thing like narcissists do. They criticize others, but if you have constructive feedback for this guy, Ross of Alex Jones, am I gaslighting? What's going on? Are you guys destabilized now? If you have constructive feedback for this guy, Ross of Nazareth, I'll take it. Put it in the comments. Don't get too nasty. I have a bunch of hackers already unloading all their nasty comments on me. Remember back in the day when like all the comments were positive, and now I almost have no comments or they're all negative. And it's the hackers, obviously. So try and spread as much love in the comments as you possibly can. Please. Please, I don't want to have to disable my comments. I don't read them anymore. I'm a comic. There's not much you can say to me that I haven't already thought of myself. I'm wearing a fedora that literally kills white-tailed deer on my head, dude. I'm so tired. It's been a long week. I think I'll save the psych ward stories for a different podcast. That would be too much, dude. It would be too much to fit, dude. I am exhausted. You heard enough. You heard about the toxic abuse cycle, female psychopaths, how they get your information. They use cameras, stuff like that. Going to court with them? If you have to go to court with them, it's a nightmare. I should do a podcast on that. I have a court case coming up. It's all lies. It's like, what do you do with all lie? I thought, by the way, like me just going to the cops and being honest, I thought that would work. How dumb am I? I'm sorry. You heard on the anti-George Carlin podcast first. Cops never make anything better. I did say that. Oh, great. The cops are here. They're going to make everything better. Ross, you're being 302'd. We're about to strap you into the back of this ambulance on a gurney while you're having a panic attack. Does that sound good? With death threats all around you, you're the one getting in trouble. Does that sound good with you? Does that sound reasonable, Ross? We're the Bethlehem police. Sure, guys. Do I have a choice? All right, anyways, this last couple minutes here, let's just put some of the death threats up, some of the stuff that I've been receiving. This ex has contacted me on multiple accounts after I filed a PFA. She filed, I'm not sure about what I'm allowed to talk about. Allegedly, I have a PFA filed. Allegedly, are we talking about court or are we talking about The Sims 3, the game I play at night every time I go to sleep? I am an avid video game player. You guys know this. Come on, I play RuneScape at night. All right. So, hope you guys can enjoy some of this comical stuff because I was writing back to the hackers. We can't really use any of that because it's called I engaged. Because the cops were useless. I'm like, I have to play Scooby-Doo? I played Shaggy, dude. I had to play Shags. Scoobs, can you guys look at this? Can you believe this? I need the sandwich first. I would do the sandwich and I would go, all right, Scoobs. Fred's off banging, Daphne. Where's Velma at? Jinkies, I said. I need Velma in here for sure to help me with this incredibly difficult hacking problem. We solved it in about an hour, dude. No big deal. At the end, we pulled the mask off. It's Old Man Jenkins. He's hacked my phone from the beginning. For real, guys. All right. I hope you guys like the new studio. A lot more podcasts to come, documentaries. Check out all my music, please. If Ross of Nazareth disappears, please continue listening to the music on Spotify. We are trying to save the publishing rights on the BMI royalties that I collect. Go on my Spotify, wherever you listen to music. Just go and listen to Ross of Nazareth music. It is some of the best music you will ever hear. I don't promote it that much. I really should promote it more. I play it live. Go and listen to Ross of Nazareth music. Spotify, wherever, YouTube. Some of the best music out. I love you all. If this is the last podcast I do, you are the answer.
April 19th, 2026, I'm at my apartment complex trying to provide hacking evidence to the police for the 5th time. And they are telling me I have to go to a hospital, forcing me. And the reason is because they think I'm going to harm myself when I am not. I do not want to harm myself in any way. There are hackers hacking my phone. I've been documenting this. And what's your name, sir?
My name is Sergeant Glick. My badge number is 435.
Sergeant Glick, what's your name?
Officer Better Badge 517.
Okay, and what's your name again?
Officer Gardner Badge 511.
Okay. From my understanding of this, it's a sadistic. I just tried to tell them about the organization called 764. Cyber crime represents 60 to 90% of all financial crime, period, in the United States. Local township police are not aware of these tactics used. DARVO, it's a calculated projection that the abuser uses to basically gaslight the victim. And I tried to provide this information multiple times, and it's Bethlehem police. They just aren't aware that they got hacked inside of their own department. That's sad, and it puts the entire state at risk if they don't take this serious, and if it happens again, they put people in mental institutions. That doesn't seem fair. This is, it's actually a Fourth Amendment constitutional violation, and that's about it.